Yes, everyone, how are we doing? And welcome to the match review for Manchester City 2, Newcastle United 1. Big 3 points. We put the pressure back on Arsenal. We've done our job, 11 more of them, and we're champions. Come on. And quickly, just before I get into talking about the actual game, I did go to it. There's a matchday vlog out now on my YouTube channel. If you're not give that a watch, go and give it a watch. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do so. I'm trying to reach 1,000 by the end of the 25-26 season. And listen, let's just get straight to talking about this game because I'm excited. I'm still in a good mood. Listen, it's Monday evening. And despite the game being on a Saturday night, I'm still really pleased about it. I've watched the highlights back a few times. I've seen a lot of clips, a lot of stuff, a lot of positive stuff off the back of it. Of course, there's been a big game within the title race as well on that Sunday, that North London derby. We'll talk about that towards the end. But I'm still feeling good. I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling happy. Proud of the performance. I thought we'd be good. We were a better team. We deserved the win. And maybe not even more so, but I am still very confident that Manchester City will win this year's Premier League title based on what I've seen so far, including that Newcastle game. The reaction to it, the performance itself, just the feeling, the atmosphere, just something in the air at the Etihad Stadium. I've got a feeling in my bones that we're going to do something special. But instead of talking about feelings, let's talk about thoughts. Let's talk about what I've seen on the field. I thought City, as I said, were the better team, as seems to be the common thing at the minute. The first half was a lot more riveting, a lot more fun, a lot more entertaining than the second half was. But no issue with that. We took the lead very early on. One of our own, Nico O'Reilly, playing again in the midfield. Thought he was quality. He scored a beautiful goal, a fantastic goal. Wraps it with his left foot into that bottom left corner. Beautiful finish, just outside the box, I think, as well. And you thought, and when that hit the back of the net, I thought, this is what we're about. This is what is on. We're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing it well. You know what I'm saying? It was unreal. But that lead, lasted relatively short, didn't it? Lewis Hall, again, England's left back. Who's going to be one of the two? Lewis Hall or Nico O'Reilly. Both of them stepped up in that game. But Lewis Hall hit one. Big deflection off. Was it Nunes or no? I can't remember. But one of City players took a big deflection. Unlucky to say the least. But once again, we responded well, even at first half. Look, I know Newcastle had a few chances and Donnarumma pulled off a fair few saves. And defensively, I thought City were pretty sound. Nunes and Aït-Nouri, I thought were decent. Gay, he was good in the first half. Kusanov, what a substitution that was. His impact off the bench in that second half. He kept Gordon very, very, very quiet. Had him for pace, had him for tackling, had him for everything, every single time. No one got past Kusanov while he was on the pitch. Despite Newcastle having some chances, I thought we were the better side. We kept probing, we kept going. We got our second goal, and who was it once again? Nico O'Reilly stepping up again. A beautiful goal, another great goal from him. And to be honest, we could have gone into half time 3-1. It could have been 3. We had a few chances, especially like the last 3 or 4 minutes of that first half. We were having goals. Marmoush had a couple of chances that I thought on another day he definitely takes away. I'm surprised he didn't with his record against Newcastle. You'd expected him to. Out of all the players on the pitch, look, I know Haaland's our best finisher, but against Newcastle, I'd have had Marmoush on them chances, but he didn't take them. Saves, wide tackles, whatever it may be. It didn't happen for us. Newcastle did actually get a goal just before half time, which was ruled out for offside, which, I mean, he was offside. Dan Burn was offside. If you want to talk about how he got into that offside position, we'll ignore that part, but he was offside. So the right decision, some would say. And there's been a little bit of talk about the referee and about some of the decisions that I'm going to talk about in a few minutes. And the hypocrisy in that, from whether that is Arsenal fans, other Premier League fans, or Newcastle fans, especially talking about that hypocrisy, to say the least. But as I said, give it a few minutes. Second half, sound, solid. You know what I mean? It wasn't the most exciting stuff. We didn't exactly have a lot of chances. Newcastle didn't have a lot of chances. It was a little bit of a quieter, more professional game. A little bit more of a professional performance. We brought on Kusanov, like I said. I thought it was the right fit, the right match. I'm a big fan of Diaz. I think he's quality. I think he's now, based on the fact that there's a lot of people, maybe outside of the Manchester City fan base, Manchester City Football Club, there's a lot of people that, when you hear people saying about, most overrated, or the players that they don't see the talent, they don't see what other people see. You see Ruben Diaz's name popping up in a lot of these conversations, and I'm thinking, are you dizzy? What is wrong with you? You're thick. You know what I mean? Are you on something? Like, Diaz is quality. Diaz is a serious, no-nonsense centre-half. Some good blocks, some good games. I mean, he's been brilliant for City this season, and it's this part of the season I always feel like Ruben Diaz steps up. I know there's a lot of fans, City fans, like local City fans, but also, of course, he's got a big Uzbekistani fan base, Kusanov, hasn't he? But I know there's a lot of people that want to see Kusanov in the starting lineup, want to see him, think he's undroppable, think he's quality, and I hear it 100%. But I don't know. I feel like these types of games, these types of performances, when you need to hold on to a win, you need to grind out a win, when it's the business end of the season. We've seen there and done it with Ruben Diaz. I feel like he's got to be one of the main names on the team sheet. But hey, that's what football's about, in it? Difference of opinion. And it's something I've been consistent on ever since, especially the signing of Matt Gay here, and since the signing of Semenyo. I think it for a lot of different positions. I never get too fixated on why is this player not starting, why is this not player not starting, why is this player not starting. I never get too emotional with that, too overthinking with that, because no matter who gets dropped, there's always quality to come in. You know, for example, Ruben Diaz came off a centre half. I've just said I'm a massive fan of him. If we get to Leeds away and Diaz doesn't start and Kusanov does, even though I prefer Diaz out of the two, you're not going to see me start having a meltdown. Because why? Kusanov's quality. If in the midfield he decides to drop Bernardo and brings in Tajani Reinders, I think Bernardo's better. I'd rather Bernardo start. I won't see a meltdown. Semenyo's coming. If he doesn't start, if Doku's back and he puts Doku in, despite the fact Semenyo's quality and he's been playing well, you're not going to see me melt down if he gets benched for Doku. Like, it's just, I think people, and to be fair, it's quieting down a little bit, that talk of stuff. It's quieting down like that over the past few weeks. Typical, we start winning again and people start shitting up. But yeah, it's a long way of saying I think Kusanov's quality anyway. And I thought he was brilliant in that second half. The last 10 minutes, a little bit nervy, a little bit shaky. Not that I don't have faith in these players, not that I don't trust the players, not that even Newcastle had any like brilliant chances. Donnarumma pulled off one good save, like really good save towards the end, but certain angles make it look like it was going wide anyway. But he had to do it. I'm glad didn't take no risks. I don't want him to take no risks. You know what I mean? I'd rather him just commit to it, give the corner away and clear the corner, than sort of back out 50-50 and then he's not reaching it, or he's stood up thinking it's going wide and it's hit the back of the net somehow where it's bounced off him. You know what I'm saying? No nonsense. Don't take the risk, and that's what I like. And that's what Donnarumma does. He doesn't take risks that much. So it's good to see. Yeah, last 10 minutes, they had a few chances. Last kick of the ball, or last final 30 seconds when it Pope coming in for the corner, and then the referee's not blowing. I'm screaming, referee, what you doing? And it's gone back out. Kieran Trippier's whipped one in. Haaland's clearing it. Defence is just lumping it, getting it out, getting it gone. And he blew the whistle. And that was probably cheered louder than any other goal, any of the goals, whether that's Newcastle's goal or City goal. Like, I feel like that was the loudest cheer. It was the sense of relief, the sense of like, okay, that is one done. That is a big one done. That is a massive one done. Newcastle, a very good side, a tough side. We've done it. And it was that type of performance. I know for a lot of people, maybe the ones that didn't go to the game, weren't part of the atmosphere, didn't, because I feel like it is very different. I'm not even having a dig at anyone like that. I'm saying it's very different, even for myself. When I'm not at the games, when it's like away games that I can't go to, or I didn't manage to get a ticket for, it is different. And I don't have to put it into words. It's just a sort of feeling. Like, I don't know when you're there and when you're not there. So for some people that weren't there, especially neutrals, they might have watched that second half and gone to sleep or just sacked it off. It was 8:00 at night anyway, kick-off. But I was happy with that performance. It gave me a side. It gave me some stuff that I've seen that I want to see, that sort of reinstates the reasons why I think the City can do this, can win this league. People going about this Manchester City side still being able to get at, they don't look right mentally and stuff like that. There's some stuff you hear certain pundits saying, and I'm thinking, I feel like it's lazy, to be honest with you. And maybe I would say this because I'm biased and check their name, you know what I'm saying? It sort of states, doesn't it? But I think it's a lazy narrative to say, oh, this City team aren't capable, this City team don't look like the City of old. Well, all right, of course we don't. We don't look like a treble winning side. No, we don't look like an 18-19 side or 17-18 side that within 2 seasons got 198 points. No, we don't. Neither do Arsenal. No one does. You know what I'm saying? We didn't when we last won the league. Liverpool didn't last year. Like, they are some of the best teams in the history of the Premier League. We don't have to be the best team in the history of the Premier League to beat this Arsenal side. That's just my 2 pence anyway. I'm seeing a lot. I'm seeing fight. I'm seeing spirit. I'm seeing quality going forward. I'm seeing quality defending. I'm seeing a togetherness. I'm seeing a spirit, as I said, in this Manchester City team that makes me genuinely not just saying this because I'm a City fan. It makes me genuinely believe that we can and we will go on with this Premier League title. Reminder. I'm going to say it in this video. I'm going to say it in the next one. I'm going to say it in pretty much every single video until it's either already won or it's out of our hands. Our fate, our destiny is in our own control. We have, I know it sounds weird because Arsenal have one, I mean, they've got a 5-point gap over City, you know what I mean, 5-point lead. But with the fact we've got that game in hand, with the fact we've still got to play them at the Etihad, we have it's 2 hands on this title, and one's red and one's blue. And that's the way I see it right now. Yes, they can have that 5-point advantage. We can climb 6 on them. We can climb 6 on them while they get 0 from it. So You know, we're in it. We're in it. 100% we're in it. And I think there's still a lot of people, a lot of pundits, a lot of neutrals probably might back Arsenal, might think Arsenal can do it and will do it. And as I said, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. There'll be some City fans that think Arsenal will do it. There'll be some Arsenal fans that think City will do it. But I myself, I'm very confident. I really am. I'm just going to say how it is based on what I've seen this season, based on what I've seen in the past, what I've experienced as a Manchester City fan. Against other teams, against Liverpool's, against United's, but of course, especially against Arsenal's. Arsenal sides like this, Arsenal side under Mikel Arteta, many seasons of this now in a row. I'm confident. I think we do it. I really do. Now, look, that's the sort of in-game stuff spoke about. I want to talk about the refereeing decisions because, I mean, I made a TikTok on it. That's literally been uploaded before I pressed record on this. So, yeah, I've not seen any reaction to that, but I'm sure there'll be a few people nibbling, a few people giving it back, a few people complaining and moaning. And 115, you'll probably see a few times, all that shit. But few stuff that has been sort of nailed at City or a bit of controversy, a bit, you know, confusion around referees' decisions. The Newcastle goal that was given offside. To be weirdly enough, I've seen less people going about that than the Bernardo yellow card one, which is I find bizarre. But yes, Ruben Dias pushed him offside. Yes, if that was City, if that was Haaland pushed offside and then we scored, would I be annoyed? Yes. Was he still offside? Yes. It weren't a massive push. It weren't this ridiculous push that it was enough to pull him to the ground, was enough to knock him over, was enough to be warranted a penalty. So therefore, I think in my head it's the right, and probably I would say this because I'm a City fan, but it's the right thing to do to disallow that goal. If that was in the box and it went out for a corner, if VAR looked at that, and let's say it wasn't offside, it weren't a goal, it went out for a corner. If VAR would have looked at that, would they give that as a penalty? And the answer, I think everyone would agree, is no. It isn't. It's not this reckless big push or anything like that. It's not. Defenders do that for every single corner. I mean, the irony in Arsenal fans complaining about that. You said a worse for it. You lot with your corner set, your set pieces, where you gang up and goalkeepers, gang up and defenders. It's just a big mess, big maul, big mosh pit in the middle of the fucking 6-yard box. And when Ruben Dias gives someone a push, that should be. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just ridiculous. I find it mental. But the Bernardo Silva one. Yes, okay, fair enough. Again, on Dan Burn, a bit of a culprit. I'm going to speak on him in a minute. That foul that was given when he just sort of jumped in and barged into Dan Burn, wasn't even looking at the ball, looking at Dan Burn. I don't know what Bernardo was thinking. He's picked up 3 yellow cards now in consecutive Premier League games. 2 yellow cards away now in these next 5 games. If he gets 2 yellow cards in these next 5, he's got 2-match suspension. And for our captain, for somebody who steps up, somebody who's been, I think, brilliant for Manchester City this season, we've got to be careful of that. He's got to be careful of that. This is the max. He's never had more yellow cards in the Premier League season for Manchester City than he has right now. And we have 11 games left of the season. I'm not saying he can't get the 2 yellow cards, but do it after. Do it. Let this window go. Let this 10-match suspension window go. You know what I'm saying? Chill out. But people complain about why was that not given as a second yellow card? That should have been a second yellow card. Well, yeah, I'd agree. It should have been given as a yellow card. But that fucking yellow card, the first one it was given, was never a yellow card. What we're talking about here? He was given he was booked for nothing, absolutely nothing. So it sort of equals out, doesn't it? Yes, he should have been booked for that one, but he should have been booked minutes before for that first one. So anyone complaining about that, stuff it. And as I said, it's ironic, it's hilarious. If there's Arsenal fans complaining about any of this, yous are the worst culprits for stuff like this all season. Look at the Gabriel push. Tottenham's goal ruled out for even less, so much more less of a push from Colomboani onto Gabriel. That weren't a foul. Arsenal fans, we've had a lot of been Arsenal fans. I try not to do that, and I feel like I've done it a lot in this video already. Sort of collectivify everyone, sort of just group everyone together and say, well, I've seen some fans of that team say this, so that means all these. I know it's not. I know that's not the case at all. Of course, it's not the case for anything in football. There's so many fans, so many supporters, so many everywhere all over the world that I can't just do that. But I'm saying there's a big group of them that I've seen saying this, that, or the other. Arsenal players are culprits for that type of thing. Gabriel going down like some Tom Daly swimmer. I couldn't believe what I seen. From Gabriel. I couldn't believe that VAR seen that and decided to rule that. I was stunned. I was absolutely stunned. And I don't look. No, that didn't change anything. And I don't care what anyone says about, it could have been a different game if it was 2-2. Tottenham with a bag of shit and Arsenal walked all over them. So I don't even care. If Moani's second goal would have counted, Arsenal still would have won anyway. Not bothered. But the Dan Burn one, or even anything going City's way, any favour going City's way, anything like that. I don't think either of them were clangers. I don't think either of them were disgusting by the referee, ridiculous by the referee. There was nothing that you're going to look back on after the end of the season, regardless of who wins the title, going, What about that day at Newcastle? What about that one? What about that incident? Well, nothing like that. Nothing ridiculous. But it's been right. Have gone against City this season so far. So far, even 2026 this year. So many of them that you're going to look at and speak on. And we're going to think back a little bit to that Tottenham incident with Simon Hooper when he blew up when City when the counter attack 94th minute of the game in 3-3. Certain ones come back to you. Ashley Young's tackle that on Aguero where he nearly killed him. You know what I mean? Aguero when he was booked for diving against Monaco. There's certain ones that like stick in your mind. The Semenyo goal against Newcastle, I reckon, might stick in your mind. That the low red card on Doku, the one that cost us a derby day, that will stick in minds. There's been plenty of others. Some against Newcastle, that first game in the Premier League against Newcastle, the one that we lost 2-1 at St James's Park. That was a ridiculous referee decision day. So, swings and roundabouts. And to be honest, I don't even think that swing against Newcastle is another swing in our favour. I think we deserve more than that based on some of the shit we've had this season. So, that's the last I'm going to talk on the referee and stuff because as I said, I've already made it on TikTok, I've already spoken it here, and that's that. But the point is, we deserve a little bit of something because wow, we've been getting stiffed over in 2026 so far. It's been ridiculous. So, any Arsenal fans complaining, any Newcastle fans complaining, have a reality check. Look at Gabriel. Look at the first leg of Newcastle. You know what I'm saying? And that's that. That's as far as the actual game. Now, look, few stuff to take away. The aftermath of this game. Of course, we've got Newcastle once again in the FA Cup in a matter of weeks. Filming this on a Monday. Is it 2 weeks away? 2 weeks away. Less than 2 weeks away now until I go to St James's Park. I've not got a ticket yet, but I think I'll be able to get one League Cup. FA Cup, sorry. I'm in a Cup scheme anyway, so I think I'll be able to get one. So that's that. Playing them again. 5th time we're playing them this season. Hopefully we get a good result at St James's this time. Of course, in the league we lost. In the Cup we won. Fingers crossed it's another win. And, I mean, I'm not going to speak more on that. It's weeks away. There's a couple of games before that anyway, but we'll touch on that when it comes to it. But as I said, we play Newcastle once again, and we've seen it in this game. I know Newcastle on certain times this season when they came to City. We're playing them 4 times now. Won 3, lost 1. I think that was even compared to the first time when they beat us at St James's. I think that performance from Newcastle at the Etihad was the best of the 4 performances, just from my memory anyway. Newcastle fans might disagree. Let me know if you're watching. Let me know your thoughts. But I feel like that was the best Newcastle I'd seen come to the Etihad this season. Oh, best Newcastle I'd seen City play against this season. The other thing, of course, what it means for the Premier League title. We all were really, really hoping that Tottenham were going to do us a favour. I had absolutely zero hope or faith or anything like that. Zero in my mind thinking that Tottenham could have done anything against Arsenal. They're a terrible side, and it's only 2 games I expect Tottenham to get up for in an entire season, especially now more than ever. And that's the home and away game against Manchester City, and it's just ridiculous. But yeah, they were a disgrace, Tottenham. Absolute disgrace. They were terrible. 8-2 in aggregate by your biggest rivals is just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I think back to the 6-1 season, 11-12 season, the Aguero season. On aggregate, we did 7-1 over United. That's bad. 8-2, again, just as bad. Awful. They are horrible, horrible team, Tottenham, and I hope they go down. I hope they get relegated, and they actually might. It's mad to say it. They might go down. Last season, when we were all talking about, they might go down. They were 17th, but the other 3 below were that far below that it was like there was no risk. There was no risk at all. They could go down. They could so get pulled into this. If West Ham get a win, if Forest get a win, they're both 1 win away from looking like, oh my days, we're a matter of a draw, a matter of a win. You know what I'm saying? It's mental, absolutely mental. Now look, forget Spurs, fuck them. Arsenal's the team that we've been keeping an eye on. Arsenal's the team that have been slipping up. Arsenal's the team that we're competing with for this season, but also the team that have let us back in to this title race. It was a good win for them, a great win. As I said, I had every think in my head. I thought inside, there wasn't even a doubt in my mind that Arsenal would go there and win, but I felt that same thing for Wolves. So, there's not even much to say really. Did there be much to talk about if they'd have dropped points? But City did their job. We put their pressure on, and Arsenal stepped up. Arsenal won. 10 more games to go for them. 11 more for us, and that's that. I still feel like they're going to. I think both City and Arsenal will drop points still this season. Both teams have a ridiculously tough upcoming game this season. This week coming up. Both teams have a week off midweek. We've got Leeds away, which is a very hard game. Ellen Road, a tough place to go to. Very good side. They're fighting well this season. I think they're definitely safe. They could definitely get something out of us. You know what I mean? I don't think they'll be scared of us. I don't think they'll fear us. I don't think they fear anyone, Leeds, the way they've been this season, the way they fight. And Arsenal have another derby. Chelsea. I don't know if it's at the Emirates or it's at Chelsea, but regardless of where it is, I think it might be at the Emirates, but regardless of where it is, Arsenal are favourites. Arsenal will be favourites for every game they go into for this season, maybe unless it's against Manchester City. So I think Chelsea could do something. I hope they do. Of course I do, but we'll see when the time comes. We'll see when the time comes. And to be honest, I think that's where I'm going to leave it. That's that. As I said, both teams got a week off. City have a week off. We find out at the end of this week who we get in the Champions League draw. It'll either be Real Madrid, Benfica, Bodo Glimt or Inter Milan. At the minute, it's looking more like it's going to be Bodo or Real Madrid. Weirdly enough, I feel like I'd rather Real Madrid. Like, it's Bodo, of course, what they did to us when we played them. I'm not saying we wouldn't beat them over 2 legs. I think we would. But they're a tricky side. They're no team to be messed with. They had a great win against Inter as well. And Madrid, this is one of the weakest Madrid sides I've seen so far. I take great pleasure in knocking them out. I think it'll be one of them too. Probably rather Madrid. Let me know who you'd rather in the comments, who you think we'll get. And that's that. As I said, week off. We go again. Leeds United. Saturday, Ellen Road. I'll be going to it. My first time going to Ellen Road. It's one of them grounds, a little bit like Leicester, a little bit like Everton. Certain ones that you look at and you think mid-table to lower team, but you think, I'd love to go there. I never got to do Goodison. I wanted to do Goodison. So I'm excited to do Ellen Road anyway. I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be a big game, a feisty game, a big one. Once again, similar to this week, we're playing first. We're the ones that have got to do our jobs, put the pressure on once again, and hopefully Arsenal fold the day after. But yeah, we'll come to that on Friday morning when I do my preview for that. So unless anything drastic happens, which there won't be, what can happen? We're not doing anything during the week. I'll see you Friday morning for the Leeds United preview. Thank you for watching. As I said, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. Let me know your thoughts on anything I said in the video. And yeah, I'll see you Saturday. Come on, City.